All right, I'm here Skyping with Chef Chris Holen. My name's Tyler Dunn. I guess we can get this show on the road. So, Chris, you recently received some really great news. Why don't you talk about it a bit?
Oh yeah, we've been it's pretty exciting. Been appointed to represent the state of Oregon at the Great American Seafood Cook-Off in New Orleans. We're heading there at the end of next week.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So, have you been on anything like this before? What? Tell us a little bit about the competition, I guess, first of all.
Well, the competition revolves entirely around seafood. So at this point, there's 18 chefs from 18 states that will be representing their home state and the seafood that they do from where they are in this competition. So you have a kind of a predetermined dish that you will be and we've created something that I feel represents our area well, and we'll be competing against all these other chefs from all these other states to hopefully bring home the title to Oregon.
Great, sounds good to me. So,
Be fun.
yeah, I guess before we go too far into that, if you could just like kind of take a step back, talk about maybe how you came into the seafood industry, how you became a chef, and all that.
Sure. It's kind of a long story, but I spent a good. I grew up in Alaska, about a mile off the highway, hour north of Anchorage, and I immediately went into after high school. I went into work in a restaurant and started in the dish pit. You got to start at the bottom, right? And kind of work my way up, and then I took a bit of a hiatus from that, and had this great job with Holland American Cruise Lines for about 5 years, working in Denali National Park, and second best job ever. Next to this one, I love what I do. Anyway, that job allowed me to go and see the world in the winter time. I didn't really have to work, so I was able to spend a lot of time in various places throughout the world. And it didn't dawn on me till a few years later that there was the obvious common denominator was food. I mean, everything I did and all this adventures and all this stuff, there was the one thing that was always a constant, and that was food. And I realized after a bit of a kind of a life-altering experience, my wife and I were living in Montana, had a house fire, and realized, I don't make much money, I have no insurance. I was like, but I woke up in the middle of the night one night with this epiphany that I know what I want to do with my life. And from there, it was obvious, and I applied to, was accepted, and went to culinary school at Scottsdale Culinary Institute in Arizona, and received my degree in restaurant management and as well as culinary arts. And since graduating, I've been self-employed. I finished school in 2000, married my girlfriend, left my job with Marriott, and on our honeymoon, we discovered Astoria, Oregon, and this cool little town.
Wow.
On the coast. We were driving through, literally driving through, just immediately fell in love with it. There wasn't a lot going on, as there is now. There's so much going on here now.
Yeah.
Empty storefronts and very few places to eat, nowhere to dine. And we just fell in love with it. And 2 hours later, after driving into Astoria, we found a restaurant and bought it.
Wow.
That's crazy. I know that's a lot of commitment, right?
Yeah.
Short period of time. We graduated college, got married, and we bought a restaurant just like that. And
Wow.
In end of August 2000, we opened the Baked Alaska Soup Company, and a little 7-table place, and that was fun. And it wasn't much later that we found a restaurant on the Astoria waterfront that had gone under, and we were able to beg, borrow, etc., and open the full-service Baked Alaska. So it's been an awesome trip. We're lucky to live in a town like Astoria, and watching this place grow and revitalize and just come back to life. It's thriving. What do they say? We're Portland West now. I think they call it.
Yeah, I've heard that
about Portland hipsters not too long ago.
Right.
We have this whole new breath of life into a town that, when I first came here, was dying. I mean, the Liberty Theater was a rundown track. Commodore, which is well thought of now. No one had checked into the Commodore since 1967 until like 5 years ago. There was no Cannery Pier Hotel, no Holiday Inn Express, no Hampton Suites, no half the shops were closed. I mean, this place is really has come back to life. And the cool thing about our town is that we're not building anything new. We're just bringing it back to life. There's a very limited amount of new stuff. So being in this environment right here on the Columbia River, I'm super lucky to get to work with all this cool food, all this in-season product, whether it be from farms or from right from here from the river or the ocean, 10 miles from here, we're at the mouth of the Columbia River. I'm lucky.
Yeah, well, it sounds like that you put in a lot of work and it's paying off. So I don't know if it's luck, but
awesome. We get to raise our daughter here. She's gonna be in second grade coming up, and she goes to the kindergarten cop school. It's a lot of fun, and we like to be involved in this community and things like that. I probably talk a lot about Astoria, but I'm just I'm really lucky to live here and happy to represent. I'm really proud to represent our town and our state at this national level competition with some of the best seafood chefs in the country, and it's I'm stoked. We did an event last week leading up to this. We called it Pick the Dish, and we sold the rest of the dining room out for a night, and we did a 5-course all seafood tasting menu, and we let the guests participate in our decision-making process. So,
oh wow!
After a 3-hour meal, we had a consensus from the guests what was their favorite dish, and I need to explain myself. So when the guests watch this, I didn't choose lingcod, contrary to what you told me. I just don't think the lingcod can win this. So I got to go with Chinook salmon. I got to hit Dungeness crab. We learned a lot from the experience. We refined the dish that we really feel has our best chance of winning, and I'm ready to go now.
Wow. Okay, so this is like a real crowdsourcing experience you got. You're going to be bringing, yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So, and to backtrack again a little bit, so how many dishes are you going to be making there at the competition?
Contrary to like a lot of competitions I've done in the past, like I've done a bunch of Iron Chef style competitions, things like that. We get to take one predetermined dish. That's it. One dish. We're going to be judged on technical skill, creativity, using of old methods with new ideas, flavor, texture, presentation, and all of these things. What I've put together, I feel like the idea is that when you take a bite of the dish, it gives you a sense of place. You feel like you're in the Northwest, right at this time of year. Our dishes, I'm using salmon in 4 different ways. I mean, we're doing a troll caught off the coast here, Chinook salmon with crispy skin. It'll be like salmon bacon on the top. We're curing salmon roe, quick curing salmon roe from raw right there during the competition. It's going to go right on top. We have Bing cherries, donut peaches that I can purchase from our market right out my door. Arugula that I grew myself. It's growing in our garden outside the restaurant here, so I'm going to use that. Assuming no one eats it in the next week, right? Dungeness crab. There'll be Dungeness crab in the dish, and then over the top, we've made this classically fish fumet or a fish stock using the same carcass with. It's steamed with Oregon Pinot Noir Rosé, and I'm layering that broth with. You're going to taste fish. You're going to taste the sea when you first taste it, and then you're going to taste a hint of the earth, the wild mushrooms I've put in there. You can taste it as it goes, and wild mushrooms, and then finished with a little hint of coffee. So
wow,
it's interesting.
That's jam packed.
It's kind of like it's layered flavor. It's going to be, you're going to taste the sea, followed by the earth, followed by coffee.
Well, I'm a fan of coffee, and I think that sounds awesome. That sounds great.
It's awesome. I'm really happy with the idea is that each thing. Like, we're not cooking the peaches, we're not cooking the cherries. The crab is already cooked. The arugula is raw. The broth will lightly heat it up, but you have this kind of fresh, when you taste that beautiful cherry by itself, taste the peach by itself, the crab by itself, the salmon by itself. But if you put all the little pieces on one bite on a fork all together, they just they taste like Oregon.
Wow.
So,
okay, so yeah, well, so how long have you been like crafting that dish, conceptually, or?
I've done a rendition of it a couple of different times for a couple of different events. It was I called it the Northwest Hot Pot. It's kind of a what's in season and using the whole fish. I mean, the idea is we're using the whole fish. We're not wasting anything. I first did this dish leading up to an event at the James Beard House in New York City in 2012. It was kind of our highlight dish. I mean, it was a 6-course meal, plus appetizers, plus wine, but it was like that. I feel like was our signature dish, and I did a variation with it. It had front and center was black cod. I don't know if you've had black cod, but it's like I can't even describe how rich it is. But it was a similar version of that. And then we did an event last year in collaboration with the James Beard Foundation, where we featured this particular dish for a 1-month period. And it was a social media driven event where we donated a portion of every time we sold that dish to the James Beard Foundation for furthering culinary education, all their programs they have going on there. And basically, we requested that our guests post a photo of it to, what's the site? There's so many of them now.
There are. Believe me, I know.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Post it to Instagram.
There we go.
Hashtag Baked Alaska Astoria, and you would accrue votes, and the winning, whoever got the most votes would get, whoever got the most posts would receive, $10,000 for their charity. So,
wow.
Of course, we're competing against New York City. Chicago,
right,
stuff like that. So it wasn't likely we would win. We don't have that volume of people here.
Sure.
But it was fun. It was fun. I really was hoping to be able to give money to our Sunday market, but whatever.
Well, moving on. Now you're in a new competition here, so.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. But that's kind of what inspired the dish. The whole idea was that it's an opportunity to use the whole fish to feature this wonderful Chinook salmon, which tastes like no other salmon on earth. It's rich in flavor and fatty, and to highlight that making stock from the carcass, the fillet, the skin, the roe, and combined with in-season ingredients that was really the goal. So
yeah, cool. Well, that goes into what I was just about to ask. You're going up against some very seasoned chefs themselves. So, what do you have a strategy, or is that your strategy, just using that specific fish?
I'd be
secret
lying
weapon.
if I said I haven't, checked out their bios and even visited a couple of their websites. And
yeah.
I'd be lying if I said I hadn't researched the judges a little bit. I mean, they're right there on their they're right there on their website. So
right.
Anyway, but like in this business, the business can be competitive, and we're in a place that. We're a place that's growing, and as far as competition goes, we talked briefly about the restaurant business in Astoria. We have 2 new restaurants that opened recently, which I think are going to be there for a really long time. One being a brew pub. I think they're going to kill it. And one being a sushi bar, which is right downtown. It's going to be perfect. But the idea of competition to me is healthy. It's healthy to have all these other competitors and to have new restaurants move into my town. And in the same respect, when it comes to competition, I don't drive around at night seeing what everyone else is doing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't drive by. If I'm slow, I don't go drive around and see if other people are busy. We do what we do. We have confidence in what we do. I feel like we put out consistent food, and I feel like we have a really good shot with serving a dish or presenting a dish to these, 6 professional judges from places like, one of which is from the James Beard Foundation, one of which is, editor of one of the biggest food publications in the country. I have confidence in what how I cook and what we do with our local in-season ingredients. So I'm not super worried. I'm feeling really good about it.
Good, good.
Yeah, and I love competitions. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah, it sounds like you've been in a few. That's pretty cool. You've been in some Iron Chefs competitions.
Yeah,
Have you said?
I'm the reigning champ of the Iron Chef Goes Coastal event.
Whoa!
United out here. It's a big event. It's a United Way of Clatsop County event, and it draws. We raised $40,000 last year, and it's a legitimate mystery black box 1 hour competition, and that was a lot of fun. I've done a few other ones, and I've certainly lost as well before, so I won't say.
Well, that's very cool. I'm gonna have to look that one up.
Yeah. Come out to it. It's November something.
Oh, cool.
It's like the second Tuesday in November, something like that. It's the Seaside Convention Center. It's a big event. It's a heck of a lot of fun.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm writing that down. So, and I'm new to Oregon myself. So, speaking to somebody that's new to Oregon, what separates like this state's seafood and Astoria's seafood from a lot of these other states?
That's interesting, and it's not 100% about the seafood. It's a lot about put it this way, in the Northwest, we don't. Sorry, I'm getting my text.
That's fine.
In the Northwest, let me put it this way. So it has this style, right? Cajun, Creole, etc. Right? So Texas, for example, they're known for barbecue. The Southwest, Tex-Mex style. Southern California, Arizona, New Mexico. You get to the Midwest, steak and potatoes. You get to the New York or the East Coast, there's a hodgepodge of all these different styles. But in the Northwest, there is no particular style of cooking. It's all about our ingredients that we have here. So what sets us apart is not just the seafood, but we have a plethora of seafood here, obviously. I mean, we have, like I said, Chinook salmon. Two other species of salmon as well. Dungeness crab, capital of the world. It's right down in Newport, Oregon. Yeah. We have, ling cod, black cod, true cod, halibut, albacore tuna. I mean, this Astoria used to be the home of Bumblebee Seafoods. But that being said, we also have wild mushrooms that are popping up out in the woods, wild berries, sea beans. There's wild fennel here, wild asparagus. And there's all of these ingredients, and I've always felt that whether you walk into a Japanese restaurant in Portland, or you walk into an Italian restaurant in Seattle, or a Bosnian restaurant in Astoria, like we have a Bosnian restaurant here actually.
Wow.
You might see these subtle influences of all these ingredients, and what people do with them is up to their own interpretation. But how they define Northwest cuisine is up to them, and how I define it is up to me. And I define Northwest cuisine as sourcing our food from within a close proximity at its peak of freshness. So, in a nutshell.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good. I'm getting hungry.
What says support? I don't know. There's a ton of, Gregory Orday. I haven't actually met him, but he won the competition 2 years ago from Departure.
Yeah.
And I haven't eaten in his restaurant either, so I hope I'm not wrong. But he has like Asian influences and these other things. But and once in a while we do that kind of thing as well, but we just kind of focus on the food. It's like, what can we do to enhance its natural flavor?
Yeah. So. Yeah. So have you, I know you haven't met him. Have you spoken with him at all about this? I came across that as well. He was the 2012 winner.
No, I have him a ring and see if he got any advice for me.
Yeah. Well, that's honestly, it sounds like you're going to do fine. It sounds like a big competition, but
I'm going to do fine. I'm taking my chef de cuisine who runs my kitchen here at Baked Alaska. Our place is big, so I'm more of in a management role these days. I did cater a breakfast at 5:30 this morning, but I'm more in the management role, and I do catering, and I'm general manager. But we have 200 plus seats. A multi-concept restaurant here. We have on the north end we're out on Pier 12 off downtown Astoria, and on the north end we have the dining room, which features Northwest cuisine. That's what we do down there. But on the south end, right on the trolley line on the street, we have a artisan pizzeria. So it's kind of that come as you are kind of a local brick oven pizza joint. and then the bar's in the middle. And so we have this. I'm not sure what I was thinking. It's big, you know. We can seat on the street. We have seating on the street. We have seating on the deck on the building. We seat like 200 and I don't know. I lost count. 200 and something people in it. So anyway, I'm taking my chef, Phil Spencer, with me. He'll be my sous chef in the competition, and you know, I can't think of a better chef to have my back and to take it to the finish line. So
that's awesome, fantastic. So more about the competition, I guess. Is there what's the time limit on this thing? Is there?
Okay, so as I understand it, it's at this point there's 18 chefs, so it's spaced out over their start every 10 minutes. You have 1 hour to make 7 plates of the same dish. So 6 will go to 6 judges, and 1 plate will be for photography. So 1 hour time limit. You know, knives down, finished. So you got to be. You really time it out, and we intend to practice a little bit. I just want to make sure that, you know, when we get there, you know, there's no mystery, and we've got it all completely timed out, so the food's right when it's supposed to, and service and description is right. And I mean, we're going to be like pouring this broth out of a teapot in front of the judges, you know, like little finishing touches of the dish. So yeah, it's a 1 hour time limit, and you have, you know, a little bit of limitations on equipment. There's only two gas burners, an oven, a fryer, which I don't, you know, we're not going to use that, but yeah, so it's a 1 hour time limit, and then you have 10 minutes to present your dishes and talk to the judges.
Cool. I guess like one final question for you. Yep. What do you expect to get out of this? What do you want to take from it?
What I want to take, well, I like to compete.
Sure.
You know, I want to win. I think that at this point, you know, I've been doing this for, you know, I'm in my almost 15th year of self-employment, and I think I'm ready to kind of do some more things. You know, I think there's a lot of opportunities with winning this competition. To represent American seafood. What I want to get out of it, I don't know. I mean, I guess there's a lot of opportunities. You know, I got, connections are always good, right? And to help further my career professionally, and you know, I have other things I'm already planning on doing here in the future. But I think it would be a big honor and a big opportunity for myself and the restaurant and all the people that work here. So everyone wins, right?
Right. Well, as a guy that loves food and also enjoys competition, I've watched a lot of food competitions, and I respect a great deal what you guys do, because there's no way I could ever do that.
Well, this one, at least we have we can plan it thoroughly out. There's no mystery.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
We're going to make sure. I mean, we're going to take all our food with us from here. I have special boxes. We'll pack it in. We're going to check it on the plane so it doesn't get lost in the mail. But yeah, we'll be ready, and we won't be making any mistakes. So.
All right. Well, Chef, best of luck. We'll be rooting for you.
Awesome. All right. Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks.